Right, so previously on this channel, we have spoke about wedding drama, and we've also spoke about Airbnb drama, but I believe this is the first ever time that we've spoke about wedding Airbnb drama. Now let me add some context to this. So the main person you'd be aware of is a user called Tani, and recently Tani uploaded a video that has got just under 10 million views, and it's talking about a situation where a bridal party has been kicked out of an Airbnb on the wedding day.
Bridal party getting put out of Airbnb on wedding day.
It's way fucking ridiculous. If the bride can't get her hair and makeup done, then we have to be at the venue, what? We have 2 hours? Where we gonna go for 2 hours? We in the middle of nowhere.
Literally in the middle of fucking nowhere.
She had 7 people.
Hair and makeup.
It don't even matter. We're not having a house party. We're doing our hair for a wedding. Like,
Okay, so obviously we don't get like a ton of context in the original video, but we do hear some stuff. Like, we hear someone say that there's 7 of us. We later find out that 6 people is the maximum in the Airbnb, but then we also hear someone say it's not like we're having a party, we're just getting ready for a wedding. In the description of the video, however, we do actually get some more context. So Tani says, getting put out of an Airbnb on your wedding day is insane. The limit is 6 people, and for a short period of time we got up to 7, and the owner who lives right across the street told us we had 30 minutes to leave, or she was calling her brother who works for the sheriff's office. Like, be for real, it's 9 AM, no loud noise, and people were about to switch out. I have never been in Montgomery, Texas before today, and I definitely won't be going back. In a follow-up video, Tani goes on to explain more about the situation, where she explains that she was hired to work on this wedding.
Let's start from the beginning for the slow people in the back. Okay. I'm from Louisiana. I was hired to do a wedding in Montgomery, Texas. I don't know anything about Montgomery, Texas. I do know it looked a little weird when I was looking up Airbnbs and hotels, so I chose to stay in Spring, Texas.
And then she goes on to explain how they went just over the limit for the amount of people that should have been in the Airbnb and what the reaction from the owner was like.
So when the bride's stylist arrived, that took us over the limit of 6 people. At that point, the host was actually contacted and we were like, hey, we're going to have an overlap. You know, it's going to be a 7th person here only for about 10 minutes, but 3 people are about to go. She then said we had to go. We could not stay there. She does not allow that many people. So now the bride is like, okay, everyone can leave now. Can I just stay? Because her stylist was outside. The host then says you have 30 minutes to leave or I'll call the sheriff's office.
Yeah, so judging from this video, it feels like a situation that escalated very quickly, right? They brought a 7th person in. They were only supposed to have 6. There was going to be a slight overlap, but the owner wasn't having any of it, and not only didn't want the 7th person to leave, but just wanted them all to leave, or she was going to ring the police. Now, after these videos were posted, people found the owner of the Airbnb, and she started receiving a bunch of backlash. As we saw earlier, the original video has just under 10 million views at this point, and the vast majority of people were on the side of the bridal party. But this is where we end up getting a response from the Airbnb host, and then the reaction to it all is very split at this point. So the owner of the Airbnb is Raina, who has recently uploaded a response to all of this that has just under 1 million views now. She starts off the video by kind of introducing herself and then explaining that she wants to tell her side of the story.
Hi, my name is Raina. I'm a real estate agent and I also own Airbnbs and I do this for a living. I'm the one that actually went viral on TikTok regarding about kicking out a bride. So I'm here to tell my story because I think it's really, really important for everybody to know because I've been being harassed like nonstop. And I don't think that's right because, as you know, people only react on what they see. So I think it's better to tell my story.
We see a bunch of screenshots throughout this video. The first one that we actually see is a message from Raina on the Airbnb app. She's explaining what the check-in and check-out times are. She then mentions that there's only 2 people on the Airbnb reservation. This is something that gets brought up a lot. And then the rest of the message we see here is kind of your usual stuff with like the front door code and stuff like that.
September 12th. And on the booking, it shows only 2 people in there. And, you know, as a host, I would like to communicate with my guests prior to them coming over, just to give them a reminder about how to check in. So on September the 12th, before check-in, I sent a message to the male booker and send him the information on how to check in. And I also tried to confirmed also on my message that I saw that there's only 2 of you and we are so excited to host both of you.
Raina then goes on to explain that she was never told about a wedding or people coming over until they were already at the Airbnb.
Check-in time is at 3 o'clock p.m. The second day, which is September the 13th, I got a message from the female guest telling me, letting me know that there's gonna be people coming over and there's gonna be a lot of cars, and she just want to make sure that I'm aware because it's her wedding day. And this is new to me. I didn't know there's going to be a wedding or she's going to be a bride. She never communicated to me regarding wedding.
Yeah, so we can see the message here from Angel. It says, "Good morning, just wanted to let you know that I'm getting married today, like 15 minutes down the road. My venue won't let me and my bridesmaid in yet, but will around 12 p.m. By that time we should all be gone, as well as the cars. I just wanted to let you all know so that you didn't think it was a party or anything. I apologise for the inconvenience. Please let me know if there's anything you need from me, and again, I apologise." We then see a message from Raina saying, "Congratulations on your wedding day. Our policy will only allow 6 people total in our property that must be approved prior to check-in." So the other guests that are coming over won't be staying overnight. They just need somewhere till 12 p.m. is what Angel is saying, but obviously Raina is saying that's against the rules. Raina then goes on to explain that she wasn't aware of this all beforehand, and also mentions that on the rules of her Airbnb property that she also needs to see the ID of people at the Airbnb.
But apparently, what I gathered is that I think she booked the property for, the wedding party, which I wasn't aware of. And, we do have, requirements, right, for our guests, because as a host, we created our own house rules. So one of the house rules is that I do need all the IDs from all the people that's actually staying on our property. Either they stay there, hang out, or stay there overnight or sleep overnight. I do need to have those IDs. This is my home. It's very special to me. This is personal. I just want to make sure who are those people coming in. And I never got that.
Yeah, we can also see on this message here, Raina is saying that there's only 6 people allowed to be in the property at once, only 3 cars allowed to be on the property, no street parking, all ID needs to be submitted for all guests prior to check-in. Also mentions that these policies were on the listing before it was booked. And then we also do see the part of the message that says that you need 30 minutes to vacate the property, otherwise the sheriff will be notified to vacate you from the property. We hear more about that in just a second, but also at the end of this message says, "I confirmed with you yesterday there was only 2 of you checking in when I sent the check-in info." Now at this point in the video, Raina goes on to say that they didn't just break like one rule, they broke multiple.
And the second thing is that one of the other rule that we have is we only allowed 3 cars that can be parked in our property, and there is no street parking. There's 6 cars, and there's cars parked outside, so that's actually broken the rule. You have to understand, this is all about respect. If you're going to somebody's property, you need to communicate. I have no problem, if she communicated with me and letting me know about the bridal party. How could I kick her out? Ask her, how many people do you have? I even asked her, do you need place? I can find some place for them to stay. And I even suggested Margaritaville, and she said no. They're not going to be going in there.
Raina then goes on to explain that there end up being 6 cars outside the property. The limit was 3 cars and 6 people, and she didn't know how many people were actually in the property because there's no cameras inside. Raina then says that she spoke to Airbnb, who tried to get in contact with Angel but couldn't get through to her. And then at this point, Raina mentions that she will phone the police if they don't leave.
And then I tried to communicate with her about the policies, and it seems like she's trying to prove her point. And I can't go farther with her. So when I called Airbnb, of course, Airbnb wanted to get all the information, okay? They have to evaluate the host and they have to evaluate the guest. So Airbnb did their thing. Unfortunately, Airbnb was not able to get hold of this female guest because I believe she's not answering their call. So Airbnb contacted me back, and I told Airbnb and I said, hey, how can I move forward on this one? Because I am not comfortable anymore of them staying in there, because really, I don't know how many people inside the house. She's not telling me how many people inside the house. So I told Airbnb, said, well, Raina, what do you think you would feel like doing? And I said, well, maybe I can call a cop. And of course, Airbnb can't really tell us what to do. So I told Airbnb, like, hey, if I call a cop, that would be okay. And Airbnb said, so whatever is you're comfortable doing, you can absolutely do that because it's your property.
Now, Raina also mentioned in this video that she never actually phoned the police. She mentioned that she was going to, but never did. And then we end up seeing a message from Angel, which I believe is in response to the previous message we read, where it mentions kind of like the rules and also phoning the police. And Angel says, "Awesome, I hope you have the day that you deserve after threatening to call the sheriff on a bride who is trying to have effective communication. Lovely conversation." And then towards the end of the video, Raina goes on to explain how she found out about the video being posted.
After that, never heard from them. I said, oh, okay, well, hopefully, they get it. We never called the cop. I got a tag on TikTok, and the tag is them showing their experience on my Airbnb. And after that, I realized, oh, okay, maybe they're gone already because, it shows on TikTok that they're actually living. I said, okay, so I went and, checked the Airbnb. And next thing I know, my phone is blowing up on Airbnb app, telling me I'm a racist, telling me this, telling me that, nasty messages. And that went on the whole day, the whole night until today. Today is the 14th, okay? I'm still getting a lot of messages.
So like I mentioned earlier, after Raina posts this video, the reaction to this whole situation is definitely very mixed. The comments on Raina's video are actually turned off. I believe they were turned off from when she uploaded it. But if we actually go back and look at Tiarani's video, we can see like what the updated comments look like. There's still a lot of comments like this one saying, "Former Airbnb host, dispute the charge and give her a bad review. There are literally so many other ways the host could have resolved this. Hey, saying she calling her brother and not the regular police is all you need to know." Another comment here saying, "As an Airbnb host, this is ridiculous. The amount of guests is typically those staying the night. A visitor at 9 AM and knowing you're prepping for a wedding, insane. Looks like hidden racism to me." But then there's also a bunch of comments saying stuff like this. "I just saw the owner's response. You were definitely wrong. The owner did the right thing. Next time tell her up front it's for a wedding and that you are having multiple people over. Girl, you broke the rules." And then there's also some comments from people who kind of seeing like both sides of the story, like this one here that says, "Well, I just went and watched the Airbnb host video, explain everything with screenshots of the conversation. I'd go and watch the video before y'all go and harass the host. What happened is an absolute shame and I wish she would have just let them stay to get ready for the wedding because I'd want the same too. But I don't know, I'm on both sides of this one. Y'all should go watch the video that Raina posted." Also, with response videos to this situation, it's a very mixed response. For example, we have a video here from a user called the Dawn Dada, and she goes on to say that the host has too many rules for their Airbnb.
Just watched the response video from the Airbnb host. If y'all want to look at it, her name is Raina Tart. And all I have to say is that she has way too many rules. If that place is so sacred to you, I think you need to take it off Airbnb. She does not want people parking on the street. She only wants 3 cars in the yard. The lady communicated with her and told her, hey, the venue would not allow my girls to come in early to get dressed and all of that. I need them to come to the Airbnb and get dressed. She clearly stated that. She did not ask them to stay.
She also goes on to question why they wouldn't just be allowed to stay since it was only for a few hours.
The lady got on the video and was like, oh, you guys only told me 2 people were staying there. The bridal party was not staying there. They were only there to get dressed. She told him, oh, you need to go find somewhere else. She said, why am I going to get somewhere else that they're only going to be there for 3 hours? Like, what is the problem with that? Like, I don't understand that. And I get it. That's your place. You want to have all of these boundaries, and that's fine. You are allowed to have your own boundaries. But if it's going to be like that, I don't want it. Mm-mm.
And then goes on to say that it's the Airbnb owner's choice to have like certain rules, but maybe she should have put it aside since it was for a wedding day.
It is your choice to have those rules and restrictions, but come on, it was the lady wedding day. Like, you could not put all of that to the side to say, hey, I know you guys aren't going to be living here. I know you ain't here to turn up. I know you're here to get dressed. Go ahead and do your thing. Instead of you showing that compassion, you say, oh, I need you out immediately. That was just terrible. I'm sorry. That, as a host, I feel like that was terrible. You found no way to try to accommodate them.
But then on the other hand, there's people making videos with different opinions, like this one here from a user called Tell Hez Everything. I believe it's meant to be said. I've probably butchered that, I'm sorry. And she goes on to say that whoever booked the Airbnb didn't tell the host everything.
Whoever booked it for you
didn't notify them that, hey, my daughter is having a wedding, or me and my wife are getting married. We will be staying there for 3-4 days, but on the 4th day, the day that we're actually having our wedding vows at this venue down the street, 15-20 minutes down the street, we may have additional guests come over. No more than 6 people at a time.
And then goes on to say that the bride and her family need to take responsibility.
I think at sometimes, like in this case, ma'am, you and your family has to take responsibility. Do I think that lady was being a racist? Maybe. But the truth is, that's her property. And you have to take accountability for not checking in ahead of time, because had you known that you weren't allowed no more than 6 people at a time, you probably wouldn't have booked her house.
And then ends the video by saying that they put themselves in an immature situation.
As an adult, you have to be mad when you put yourself in immature situations, because immaturely that was handled. A grown person let people know what they dealing with, because I want to know what type of host I'm dealing with. They stay right across the street. What make you think they have nothing better to do than to sit on their porch and watch you come in and out?
So yeah, as you can see, very mixed opinions on this whole situation. I would be surprised if we don't get a further response from Tani. So the Airbnb host video is pretty recent. Actually, let me see when it was uploaded. 18 hours ago, as I'm recording this right now, so maybe there is going to be some more information that comes out. Obviously, we've seen Tani's kind of side of the story originally. Now we've also seen the Airbnb host, Raina's side of the story. There might also be a further response, and maybe from the bride as well, right? Because we saw a bunch of screenshots in this video. I'm not sure if Tani would have access to the screenshots. It would probably have to be like Angel, or Raina mentioned that there was like a male who was also on the booking. We don't know the relation is there, if it was the husband or father or whoever. But either way, there might be a further response with more messages. Who knows what's going to happen next? But with that all being said, I'd love to know your opinions in the comment section down below on everything we mentioned in today's video. Whose side are you on? Can you see both sides? How do you feel like it was handled? Just everything, all your thoughts, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'm going to leave the video there. So if you did enjoy, please do a like down below, subscribe if you are new, and until next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.